Hi, this is Alcan, and welcome back to my channel. Well, I just want to bring some interesting points about a derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. Well, okay. So far, we got some extra information about the incident, where this car was located, and some interesting facts that we didn't know before. Example, they said the crew heard some funny noise coming from a certain car. I think prior to leaving a yard from where they started. So we're not sure if that's accurate or not. What we could say is this. A certain mile post, it didn't say there was any problems with the wheels of the train. But between that last reading and the footage of the car that was had the wheels on fire or sparkling, whatever it is, we don't know if there was another device there to read what was going on with the wheels. We don't really know if the first one that the one they approached last, recorded anything or gave out any warning. The NSTV will be saying what it is about that situation. But I could fairly guess by the footage, excuse me, my glasses are not cooperating tonight, footage that it looked like a hopper car was involved in this incident. So it wasn't one of the tanker cars that was involved with this incident. Well, let me show you what the mechanism on the train is. I have a model of a certain car. It looks like one of the hopper cars. Well, we're using a Conrail one here. Let me see if I can show you. Part of the braking system, you see this wheel here, the brake wheel. That's where you applied and release the handbrakes on the train. Now, in New York City Transit, we have a handbrake in the passenger car or outside the passenger car, depending on the model. When you pump the brakes, a wheel on one side of the truck gets applied on the front of the truck, and then a different wheel gets applied in the rear of the trucks. This is what we call trucks. In Europe, you call these bogies. Now, that's one thing, but there's no indication that the handbrake was involved here. So the focus has to be on the bearings. Now, so you can see here, if you're a non-model railroader, in the center is where the ball bearings of the trains are. This is usually fully lubricated from the inside, and that's what allows the wheels to roll freely, metal on metal, without barely any friction. Now, we don't know what might have caused the situation, but there's a good possibility that maybe the fluid ran out, or it got loose, whatever the case is, and the thing was dry. And it's happened. So we just don't know exactly what went wrong. But what we can tell you is, once this thing is dry and there's no warning, it's going to disintegrate, because you got metal on metal fighting each other to the point that it's going to break free. It's going to be damaged to this mechanism that's holding the ball bearing. Once that's gone, then that wheel gets loose. And once that wheel gets loose, the derailment starts. So it doesn't matter what kind of brakes you have. If you have a train about to derail, it's not going to stop this train in time. Now, if the crew had known that this was happening, they would have time to stop the train if they knew. We don't know they knew. That's part of the investigation. I mean, even if they had the information, I mean, the first thing I would have done, take the power off and slowly bring the train to a stop. Not emergency brake. But this is the thing about the derailment. Once a train starts to derail, it doesn't matter what kind of brakes you have. Once it starts leaving the track, the emergency brake will apply, and you're going to have cars piling up one next to the other, like this. Boom, 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 boom. It's not like an Amtrak train where you have special couplers, and sometimes they will stay straight in a derailment. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And that's what's happening in Ohio. You see all these cars piling up like logs, one after the other. So this car didn't have any combustible material inside. This is a hopper car. Well, but then it doesn't mean that the stuff in here isn't dangerous. I mean, you can have flour in there. You can have other materials in there. They had an Norfolk Southern train that derailed with soybeans in it. Now you would think, what's the big deal about soybeans? Well, unfortunately, when it went into the water, it took out the oxygen and did exactly what they did with the chemicals in Ohio. Killed the fish. They had to pay for that disaster. But that one was a switch run through. So the train was on two different tracks, and eventually derailed, causing the spill. I don't even know if that crew got to keep their jobs after that. But like I said, you're operating a 1 to 2 mile long train. You had no idea what's happening behind you. You don't have a conductor in the back of the train checking up front. But even then again, you don't know if that would have made a difference. So, what we know for certain is possibly the ball bearing had some kind of damage. It ran out of the fluid to keep the wheels moving. So we don't know if the wheel got locked or something else. It could have been dragging the train. We don't know. I mean, the train could have been dragging the car. We don't know. What we do know is once the ball bearing went dry and it started sparkling and sparking, it was a matter of time before it got too hot to the point that the device that was holding that ball bearing in place would come apart, causing the derailment. And the thing is, had the crew knew about this, maybe sooner they would have probably been able to bring the train to a safe stop. But once this happens, there's not much the crew can do. And the crew is not going to throw the train brakes in emergency for this, because there's not much they can do about it. I mean, if they were going a grade crossing and there was a vehicle on the tracks or a person, yeah, they could throw the brakes in emergency for that and hope for the best. But once again, we don't know exactly what actually happened, other than the video saying that there were sparks, the car was on fire, whatever it was. We know that the ball bearing in that and the device holding it in place on the truck was disintegrating. That's probably what it was. So as a result, that's why you have a derailment. Now, remember, this is not a tank car. A tanker car is built differently, but even though it was supposed to be built to avoid being punctured and stuff, sometimes things don't work out that way. It doesn't. Because the best laid plans of mice and men don't always work out. So that's what's believed is what happened. Now I would like to hear what the NSTB does come out with. But like I said, I think that's an explanation of what could have caused this derailment. Remember, it's just an opinion. This is not an actual fact. So, I mean, I had incidents with a handbrake on a train. It applied on itself on me. So, well, did try to fix it, but unfortunately, he found out why the handbrake was being applied. It was malfunctioning, and then when I was trying to remedy the situation, a pin or something inside broke. And I said, oh, shoot. So they had to get the train carefully into the express track, and I had to go 10 miles per hour to avoid a derailment. The car shop people came, they fixed the problem, and they took it to the yard afterwards. Luckily, there wasn't too much damage on the wheel, but damn. Oh, yeah, and that might be another thing. If you find damage to the wheel, not just the ball bearing, it could mean, yes, the wheel was locked. If the wheel doesn't have any damage, then yeah, even though it was running fully, it probably was still burning up. Either way, there's different ways for a train to derail without human intervention. This is Alcan saying so long for now, and don't forget to stop. I hope this video helped you a little bit with these things. So, it's a nice car, by the way, right? Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be buying no for consulting equipment anytime soon until they clean up that mess over there. All right. Bye.